Pulling out a nail can be difficult. Just one little trick will help correct the situation. Nothing is difficult with an electric screwdriver. Take out the screw halfway, change the mode, and insert it diagonally. Do you have a chip on your countertop? It's easy to hide with 2 wax crayons and a soldering iron. Just remove the excess with a knife. What ugly joints! This should not be allowed in your house. Add a small piece of baseboard and a completely different look. What should always be on hand for a real craftsman? Of course, a pencil. You can write down your brilliant thoughts with it. Some macro and nailing wouldn't hurt. Oh, those masks. Honestly, we're all very tired of them. Fortunately, you won't have to use masks for its intended purpose anymore. There is a better option. So it's not a bad alternative to rope or even a water filter. After using it, you can throw it away without regret. We also have an interesting way to use a lighter. You only need one piece of it. Carefully pull it out and drill it. Couple more seconds, and you get a great drill bit for grinding metal. Now let's go to pipes. It's easy to pierce them if you're not careful. You can avoid this with a small metal gasket. You cut it, notch it, and attach it like this. It will no longer be possible to drill holes in the wrong place. Let's try to lay flooring where the pipe is placed. It's not really that easy. One wrong move and the appearance of the room can be spoiled. But we know how to cut a perfect circle. A construction stapler is a great thing. By the way, you can use it for not its intended purpose, but for example, as a drift punch for metal. You will have to do a little upgrade, but trust me, it's worth it. What can you make with a small piece of plywood and a furniture dowel? I know, that's not an easy question. At first glance, nothing useful, but that's a misconception. Just a little imagination and time allows you to create incredible things. For example, this educational game will appeal to any child. And all you need to do is a marking and small notches. Grind, take glue, and use it to fix a wooden dowel. Only the patient can cope with this work. Remove all the wooden burrs and sharp corners, so that no one gets hurt. That's it. All that's left is to add the most common rubber bands. This will keep the baby occupied for a long time, and he definitely won't get in the way of our work. In the meantime, we will cut a beautiful wooden log. It can be used as a leg for a small table. Careful, no sudden moves. You can pay dearly for them. Look, it turns out beautifully. It really can be quite a nice interior decoration. The last tip for today is a structure to hold a water bottle. Just add a couple of 3 wooden sticks to hold it in place. Check it out, that's impressive.
Using electrical tape to keep this switch turned off isn't sufficient. Instead, we'll use the handles from this binder clip. To more easily install snow chains, we can use a brick. Lay out the chains with the brick placed in the center and then drive onto the brick. connect the chains, and then drive off. We don't want to strip this screw, so we can use double-sided tape onto our drill bit to get better grip. Before getting started painting, it might be a good idea to wrap masking tape around the brush to keep it clean. Then when we're finished, we can remove the masking tape. By heating up this nut and bolt, we can press it into this fitting and flatten the other side. Now we can tighten this nut with our bare hands. Wood clamps can also act as an excellent marking gauge. A nail can be used to mark the center of this board to cut out larger holes. We can shave out a small notch in our pliers to help us attach rivets. Place a bearing, binder clip, and another bearing onto this bolt. Then we'll place our utility knife into this binder clip. We've successfully built a little guide for our utility knife. If we install these wire clips, with the clips facing the opposite direction, these can act as clips for our drill bits. When wrapping two wires together, here's a good way to do it. Fold one of the wires back on itself, and then the other wire will pass through the bend and around the folded wire. This gives us a nice and secure wrap. We want to cut this plastic trim in such a way that it wraps around the post. To do this, we'll first mark out the width of the trim around the post. Then, we'll cut out triangles to the inner sides of the trim. We'll do this for each corner. Now our trim wraps around the post. We can fit baseboards at odd angles with just a bit of tracing. We can use a smaller piece to mark out all the corners. Now we'll just connect the inner corners to the outer corners. Here's another life hack to prevent electrical switches from being turned on. Pass a wire through the switch like so. And if it makes you feel better, you can tie the ends in a knot and put a padlock on the end. For our next project, we'll be making a mechanical arm that helps us use our angle grinder. We'll start by attaching these metal frames together with a bolt. Then we'll weld together a clip that will go around the frames and attach it to the angle grinder. We'll attach these two metal brackets to the clip that will hold the angle grinder. Next, we'll mount the metal frames to this large board, and then mount the board itself to our workbench. Now our new tool will help us make cuts with our angle grinder. And our last project for this episode is going to be a quick way to make very rough dowels. We'll start by drilling a hole that's a bit bigger than the size of the dowel that we want into a block of wood. Then we'll use our table saw to make a cut to the bottom of that hole. Next, we'll attach a wood screw into our drill and then drill the screw into our dowel. Now we can pass the dowel through the hole while drilling to create a dowel. It should end up looking something like this.